Okay, so Max, I think we're now going to move on to talk about the digital twins, an area that is obviously still emerging, and there's been lots of exciting things obviously happening within the manufacturing sector around the application of digital twins. So I'm really interested to hear what you've got to share with us, and yeah, I'll let you pick it up from here, Max.
Yeah, as you know, Matt, I call myself also the biggest IoT enthusiast within HSO. I really am a strong believer in this functionality, and I believe that's going to be the next transformation. They also call it Industry 4.0, of course. I highly believe in that, because it gets more and more important to manage our environments, our surroundings, and also think about shortage of personnel that we all now experience after COVID. And yeah, IoT has really the power to give you access to certain devices, but not only devices, to manage whole environments. And that's why actually I was myself laughing at the metaverse when I first heard the beginning, and I was never really thinking about the context in the beginning of using it in a manufacturing background. But especially in a manufacturing background, it has a lot of potential. And yeah, what you see here in the screen that I'm sharing right now is actually a metaverse application of a water plant. And you basically see that I have full insights into this environment as well. Not only from how does it look, and having it virtual reality wise being augmented for myself. But what I also see is that here on the left side, I can actually manage my production process or manage my maintenance processes from here. And I get insights into information like that the tank is dangerously full over here, or the water quality in this tank. And you see me zooming into there. As I go to this specific tank over here, I immediately get insights on what is the copper corrosion in this, what is the steel corrosion in that, and in which manufacturing process step is that. If you now think of the benefits you could get from information like that, it's not only telling you, okay, how is my production process going, which is already nice information to know, but you have so many potentials with that, because based on certain thresholds, you could trigger automatic processes. You could even manage that whole manufacturing plant basically without having resources on site, because you can manage the process from remote. You can automate your production completely fully, and only send human resources if you need to intervene, if there's a damage, if there's a leakage, if a service technician is needed to repair a certain component or something like that. And speaking about service, it's of course information that's important for your service and your maintenance as well. So getting information like that the tank is dangerously full, the running hours that we had, I know when to perform my next service. And actually we had a beautiful example that I've prepared for a customer that is in wind farms from a maintenance perspective, which I can prepare. So based on the running hours, as well as the overall equipment effectiveness of these windmills, we were able to put the optimal maintenance day into place, considering things like weather, surroundings, running hours, telemetry readings. All of that allows us to calculate the optimal maintenance day, which in that case is in 8 days, and might be for another equipment in 4 or 3 days. And it allows me really to use data, and all of us say, yeah, data is the gold of the current century. I think you've heard that. But I only believe data is the gold of the current century if you act on it and use it. So use that data to, for example, trigger certain processes. And what we also see is that getting that information then into such a dashboard. So this is what basically sits behind my virtual and my digital twin, is such a dashboard over here that reads out all of the information, allows me also to communicate with that asset. So for example, I can activate it, deactivate it, start, stop production processes, improve or fasten certain production processes. And also I can actually really communicate with the assets. I could, for example, send a firmware update to latest releases to that. So I don't have to send technicians on site anymore to install something. I can do it fully from remote. Think about the costs of traveling that you could save for that as well, or the costs in human resources that you can do. yeah, getting back to the thresholds I was talking about as well, you can set up certain rules. So for example, if you think about these windmills again, I can set up conditions like, for example, if the voltage reading that is coming out of that windmill is greater than a maximum of 100 for 5 minutes periods of time, and that's just a made up example now. But then I can trigger a certain kind of action. For example, create me a Microsoft Power Automate flow that starts off a process in my ERP system, in my field service application, creates a work order, starts or stops the manufacturing process. So based on data, I can actually really act and get sense to the data as well. And that's, I think, a really, really powerful tool.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just jump in there because there's a couple of things that you just mentioned that I think are just worth highlighting. As you said earlier on, you know, using data is the real key thing within manufacturing organizations now, is that plants generate lots and lots of data, but it's how you utilize that. So what we're seeing is that with the digital twin giving us that virtual representation of the physical environment, but then behind the scenes being able to utilize either processes that are happening within the physical environment that we might be able to automate and have the data then flowing and acting as triggers and surfacing things that say you need to make a decision. I think that's a critical thing that's really coming to life through what you're talking about now. Is, you know, a digital twin sounds great as a piece of theory, but the practicality of it is saying, well, I'm actually generating data in my factory. The digital twin is allowing me to pull all of that together, either through process flows or alerts and things that I can then act upon.
Yeah, and a customer of ours was actually to spot weaknesses in their production facility based on Azure IoT, because they realized that the quality of the process through the data they've generated has been at one certain step not so high as they actually wanted to have it in their rating. They had a lot of failures in there. So also on a failure detection perspective, you can report on these and then find out, okay, where's the weakness of my production facility? What's going wrong? What's going good as well? Maybe you also want to see, okay, where's really our quality benchmark, and all of that data can
supporting your continuous improvement program that you
indeed.
Yeah, brilliant.
Indeed, as well as that's something you can display to your customers then as well. Hey, you can basically prove that that's where our quality lies, and we can back that up with data, and yeah, from a marketing perspective then even as well.
No, so I mean, again, there's lots of things to unpick just from what you've presented there, and it might be worthwhile just trying to summarize some of those things. But obviously, we talked about the fact that you can operate remotely, so you don't have to have people plant side if it's not necessary, which obviously has some potential cost savings. You spoke about the quality aspects of things there as well. Obviously efficiency in making decisions and making appropriate decisions and intervening in things before something becomes critical. Is there anything else that you would like to highlight that you see that is as a benefit of applying this technology within the manufacturing environment?
Once again, getting back to the product as a service perspective, this also allows you to create new business models, because data is something that you can sell to your customers as well if you have insightful, valuable data. One of our customers is Grünberg in Germany, and Grünberg is producer and manufacturer of water filters, and they've always sold that via wholesale and distribution channels or retail. So their issue was they actually never knew really their end customer, because they sold it via wholesale and retail, and yeah, they don't know where the water filter ends up. So what Grünberg did with the power of IoT and digital twins is build a mobile application that their customers can pay for, and then they get insights into the water filtration of their water filter, how is it running, if it needs more salt or something like that, as well as also sell service agreements via that mobile application, or get a direct access to the customer to offer certain kind of services as well via that mobile application. And that increased their revenue significantly and opened up a complete new business model where they didn't see a business at first, because yeah, the original channel was selling it to distribution and retail. Now they can sell consumables, services to the actual end customer.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, because we do tend to focus a little bit on the within the four walls of the factory and efficiencies and optimizations, but I'd never considered the fact that you could actually create a brand new business model, which is incredible. Okay. Is there anything else that you wanted to add before we wrap on this part, Max?
Invest in IoT.